What's up, everybody? Coming at you live from my mom's house over here in Dyer, Indiana, Dirac, if you will. Now, I'm here for the freshmen right now. So if you are a freshman, you need to keep watching this video. If you are a sophomore or a senior, you can go and look for your sophomore or senior specific video. That should be up there relatively soon if it's not up there already. So freshmen, if you are watching this, I need you to make sure that you are, following along and paying attention as I'm kind of going through this with you. So hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to open up the PDF and take a look. So it's the same thing on the left side and the right side. The left side just shows the Shakespeare language, and on the right side it shows the modern language. So I'm going to go through the modern language part with you guys just so that we can understand the story a little bit better. So I had you guys read the chorus, and I had you guys read the Act 1, Scene 1. So if you haven't or you didn't understand or anything like that, it's kind of difficult, at least when reading plays at first, to get sort of like the flow of it, but the more you do it, it becomes a little bit easier. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is this chorus, or the prologue, if you will. So the prologue is told basically as almost like a preview to the play. It's like a trailer for a movie, right? It kind of gives us a little bit of insight or a little bit of information about what we're about to see in this play. And the prologue is told by a chorus, and a chorus is like a group of singers, right? In this case, it could be sang, but I believe it's probably going to be just that one person at the front of the stage, kind of like giving this, telling us sort of like what is going to happen in this play, or set the scene for us, right? Kind of like give us the setting and the plot points and things like that, just kind of like giving us some reference. So the first thing, the prologue. So the chorus enters. It says, "In a beautiful city of Verona," which is where our play is going to take place, where our story takes place, which, if you haven't figured it out yet, Verona is where the Romeo and Juliet is going to start. A long-standing hatred between two families erupts into new violence, and citizens stain their hands with blood and their fellow citizens. So we see here that this town of Verona, this city of Verona, we have two clans, two families, two gangs almost, if you will. We have the Capulets on one side, and we have the Montagues on the other side. And these two families hate each other. They hate each other so much that they see each other in the streets, it's on, right? So they are at war with one another, and they're continuing to be at war with one another. And it carries over into the rest of the town. So even people that aren't Capulets and Montagues sort of like start joining into this fight or this feud. So that's where we start. It says, "Two unlucky children of these enemy families become lovers and commit suicide." Spoiler alert. Well, on one side we have Romeo, and on the other side we have Juliet. They're part of these two warring families. But these two don't care about their families' feuds or what's going on with them, and they actually fall in love. So Romeo and Juliet are from two differing parts of the parts of the spectrum, as far as like oh, you can't date that person, oh, you can't be with that person, but opposites sometimes attract, and Romeo and Juliet fall in love. It's a pretty story. So then it says, "Their unfortunate deaths put an end to their parents' feud. For the next 2 hours, we will watch the story of their doomed love and their parents' anger, which nothing but the children's deaths could stop." So again, this is a tragedy, so it ends very tragically, and a lot of people end up, unfortunately dying. So then it says, "If you listen to us patiently, we'll make up for everything we left out in this prologue on stage." So they're going to talk to you guys about it, or they're going to show you how the story plays out. But at least for a prologue, I'm interested. I'm interested in this play. I think it's interesting to have two families at war. I think, people dying and people, getting into fights and stuff like that. I think that would make pretty interesting things to see on TV or in this case, in a theater, right? Watching the plays. So Act 1, Scene 1, let's just get into it. I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit quickly just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So we have Samson and Gregory. Samson and Gregory are two members of the Capulet house, two members of the Capulet gang, if you will. They're walking through the town, hanging out, relaxing, whatever. All of a sudden, they see Abram come out of nowhere. And Abram is a Montague. He's on the other side, right? So we got the Capulets, and all of a sudden, a Montague is walking by. So, Montague, right? And we see that Samson and Gregory, they're having a conversation sort of like about how much they hate the, excuse me, sorry, 1 second. So Samson and Gregory are talking about how much they hate the Montagues. And they're talking about, how much we're better than them and da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, Abram comes out of nowhere. He's another servant of the Montagues. He comes out of nowhere, and they're like, Gregory and Samson are like, yo, look what I'm about to do. And he goes and he looks at, Gregory goes and it says, let's not break the law by starting a fight. Gregory comes up, he says, I'll frown at them as they pass by. Samson's like, you mean however they dare, I'll bite my thumb at them. So Samson's like, guess what I'm going to do? When I see Abram, I'm going to go like this. Right? And that might not mean anything to you guys, but back in the day, that is a huge insult, biting your thumb at somebody. Don't exactly know what it means, but I do know if somebody did that to you back in this time, they wanted the smoke, right? They wanted to fight, right? So Samson comes and Samson's like, look, I'm gonna bite my thumb, and then Abram says, "Are you biting your thumb at us?" He's rolling down with his friends, and he's like, yo, you want problems, buddy? And from there, the fight erupts, and we have a fight that's going on. Another very important character named Benvolio, he tries to stop the fight. Benvolio is another Montague, and he tries to stop the fight. He tries to, hey guys, let's chill, let's relax, right? After that, the citizens start getting all riled up and into it. They're like looking out from the window. They see in the middle of the street this brouhaha that's starting to fight or starting to happen. Some people are getting injured, some people are getting hurt, and it's about to evolve into a huge war. So much so that Capulet, the main guy, his name is Capulet from the house of Capulet, right? So the one side, Capulet comes out and he's like, yo, like what's going on? Like what is this noise? He says, give me my long sword. I'm ready to go. Lady Capulet says, a crutch. You need a crutch. Why are you asking for your sword? Montague comes in, and Montague enters with his sword. And Lady Montague, Capulet says, yo, I want to teach this old Montague is here, and he's waving his sword at me. He must be mad. So he's thinking, yo, we're going to get into this rumble. Then finally a peacekeeper comes, and his name is Prince Asalius, I want to say. That's how I'm going to pronounce it, Acalius. Well, he comes in, and he's like, look, listen here, all right? If this happens again, and your families can't control themselves, and it causes a problem in my kingdom or in my area, he's basically telling him that, I'll say this once more. He says, either you guys stop this, or I'm going to kill you. Either you guys stop this, or you are going to be put to death. And that's sort of like where the important sort of aspects of this play are relate. Let's see, what else? So then after, let's see, after, I'm just trying to look at these and look at some of my notes, just so that we're all on the same page. So Montague, after the brouhaha, says, I've tried, and many of our friends have tried to make him talk. but he keeps his thoughts to himself. He doesn't want any friend but himself. And though I do not know whether he's a good friend to himself, he certainly keeps his own secrets. He is like a flower bud that won't open itself to the world. He's talking about his friend Romeo, or his nephew Romeo, right? And Benvolio says, "Look, here he comes. If you don't mind, please step aside. He'll either have to tell me what's wrong or tell me no over and over." Montague says, "I hope you're lucky enough to hear the true story by sticking around," to his wife. "Come, madam." After that, Romeo and Benvolio, his cousin, start talking. And Romeo and Benvolio are talking a little bit about girls, right? And Romeo, he thought he was in love. He thought he loved this girl, but she didn't love him back. You know, that old story. And he's feeling really down about it, right? So then it says, Romeo says, "Yes, this is what love does. My sadness sits heavy in my chest, and you want to add your own sadness to mine, so there's even more. I have too much sadness already, and now you're going to make me sadder by feeling sorry for you. Here's what love is, a smoke made out of lovers' sighs. When the smoke clears, love is fire burning in your lover's eyes. If you frustrate love, you will get an ocean made out of lovers' tears. What else is love? It is a wise form of madness. It is a sweet lozenge that you choke on." He says, "Goodbye, cousin." Benvolio says, no, man, let me come with you. Romeo says, "I'm not in the mood. I don't want to hang out." He's like, "I'm not Romeo. I'm feeling tired." So then, let's see. We go down a little bit. This is a longer scene. This is probably, I would say, one of the longest scenes because I think they're trying to really introduce us to these characters. So hopefully you guys stayed with it. I don't think it took super long for you guys to read. But at the end, Benvolio's like, "Yo, man, you need to stop worrying about these girls, man. You need to, one girl comes around, you'll know, right? When a good girl comes around, you'll know." Benvolio says, "Do it by letting your eyes wander freely. Look at those other beautiful girls." Romeo says, "That will only make me think about how beautiful his love interest is. Beautiful women like to wear black masks over their faces. Those black masks only make us think about how beautiful they are underneath. A man who goes blind can't forget the precious eyesight he lost. Show me a really beautiful girl. Her beauty is like a note telling me where I can see someone even more beautiful. Goodbye. You can't teach me to forget." Benvolio says, "I'll show you how to forget, or else I'll die owing you that lesson." So that's the end of it. So we do get, at the very beginning, kind of like they throw us right into a moment of violence. And they throw us into a moment of, conflict to sort of show us how real this is. Then they put I forget his name. God, I always say his name wrong. And every time I try to think of it, Prince Ascalius, and he's like, "Yo, if you guys keep fighting, I'm going to put you guys to death," right? Once everything starts calming down, Benvolio starts talking to Romeo and kind of like, "Yo, what's wrong, bro? Are you everything okay?" And that's kind of where it leaves off, all right? So hopefully you're not too confused. If you are still a little bit confused, I would say look at the video that I posted from YouTube. It's kind of like an animated almost version of this first scene for you to take a look at. And then, yeah, just try your best to read and follow along as much as you can. I'm trying to keep these videos less than 15 minutes, and I think I got it. So if you have questions or concerns, you let me know. Look out, check every single day on your Google Classroom to make sure that you have the assignments and make sure that you're getting them in on time. Remember, all your work is going to be put in on the gradebook on Sunday. So make sure you're keeping up with it. Make sure if you need help, you let me know. All right. Other than that, shoot me emails. Thank you guys for keeping up. Make sure you're doing your best. Adios.